Pelosi talking to Pence, who reacts by turning towards her as she's talking, but she's not looking at him. So there's your first clue that something really isn't right in this conversation that apparently it looks like she's speaking to Pence. All right, here we go again. She's now speaking and she's putting her body in the direction of Pence and she's cackling. And of course, again, you see Pence react, kind of jovial. Because remember, humans, healthy-minded humans, go along to get along. That's normal. Now she's having more and more conversation with Pence. We are pointing this out for the reason, as this speech goes on, she's been said to have been speaking to herself. We'll get a little bit into that here after it starts. But she is starting this rapport with Pence here, probably talking about nothing of really any importance or any meat. But she's bringing him in to her little mindset of, oh, we can talk. I can be jovial with you. I can crack jokes with you. And it just goes into the mindset of when you are so alienated, alone, that the person who is perceived, even if they're on the enemy side, to be the weakest as far as their threat towards you will be someone you will try to latch on to give you some sense of stability and not be in such a weak position. Mike likes me. He talks to me. Not necessarily true, but she's manipulating the arena in her mind into that. No one really likes Lindsay. He's just the guy they shake hands with. What's our plan? We don't know. And again, she's continued to have these little conversations with Pence about really nothing. And he's just shaking his head in agreement. Go along to get along. Go along to get along. No sense in having a war in the middle of SOTU.
The President of the Senate, at the direction of that body, appoints the following senators as members of the committee on the part of the Senate to escort the President of the United States in the House chamber. The Senator from New Hampshire, Mrs. Shaheen, and the Senator from Delaware, Mr. Coons.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The members of the escort committees will exit the chamber through the Speaker's lobby doors.
She gabbled in the middle of Pence speaking. That's that control. That's all that is. It's that type of personality that wants control. It wasn't that the volume or the activity was less or more during Pence's speech. It was just that she can exercise control in the middle of him at that moment having the spotlight. And then again, you see her playing with papers, fidgeting, stress, nervousness. I don't have control over anything else, but I have control over the paper in front of me. It's also part of her sabotage. So now you're seeing her speak some more. And at this point, Pence, I wouldn't say he's being rude, but he's mentally had enough of entertaining the kind of conversation that's coming out of her mouth. So he's pretending to be distracted by other things. And so she speaks to no one. And because mentally in her mind, she still has the, oh, well, he reacted to me before. I can just talk and it'll be as if Pence still reacting to me. You see him. So he's ignored her. And then there's been some time and the stress comes into his mouth like, just shut up. I don't want to talk to you. And she blumbles again. All right, now the other guy that has been entertaining her, he's had enough as well. So he's looking away as if to be distracted from someone else. The smile on his face is gone, and she is staring at him intently. Interact with me. Interact with me. I'm insecure. I'm stressed. I need someone to reassure me. Interact. And he's not giving it to her.
Madam Speaker, the President of the United States.
He doesn't come in smiling, and he's got allies right there, right as he comes through the door. He's stressed, very stressed. Melania is watching very intently, too. We'll get more into that here in a little bit. He's still standing strong, though. He's not stressed into a position of submission. It's like the more stress put on, the taller he wants to stand. And she's not cutting her eyes away. We see a half smile there as he's greeting. It immediately goes away. We see Justice Roberts, who has rumors surrounding him regardless. He's very tight in his mouth. He's stressed. You see Gorsuch. He's got his stress smile going on, but not that tight-lippedness, just a stress smile, tired of smiling. And the lady justice, whom I don't remember her name, stress smile. You see Roberts as he fulfills this interaction with the president. He's stressed, a lot of stress, and then he bows. So it's a very shallow interaction because he's bowing with stress. It's like, I just want this over with. It's time to stop. You could speculate on the why. FYI, here in the U.S., when you have these kinds of functions, the justices of the Supreme Court and the military representatives, the generals, it is practice to not clap or give any indication of if you agree or disagree with the president, to give the perception that the Supreme Court is not political and that the military is not political. So it would be normal for it to pretty much be a flat line in their interactions. He unbuttons the jacket. He's getting comfortable. He gives a slight look over in the direction of Pence and Pelosi. I swear I think that look says it all of what he's about to do. Puts a little mischievous smile on his face. Begins with Pence. And the look on his face is like a disgust of, ew, I touched that in proximity. Aww. And Pelosi doesn't know how to react. Stretching her mouth out because of the stress. She's smiling, adjusting the microphone because of that control issue. And then she keeps touching that microphone. When you have someone who's displaying this and that's taking control of little things like this, it means they have no control anywhere else. Nothing else in their life can mentally distract them in a control issue. Because a healthy mind, when it has a healthy environment and healthy relationships, do not want to micromanage because there's too much other stuff to worry about. And again, you see her direction. She's put her hands down. She's angled her body away, but facing towards her enemy, so to speak.
Members of Congress.
And that was kind of funny. So you have heard her gabbling all night long. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. And then it continues. Trump's in there. You get a one bang and then half a bang. And she starts speaking while they're still cheering. That hesitation into her gavel banging. She's afraid of the big dog.
The President of the United States.
Thank you very much.
The years of economic decay are over. The days of our country being used, taken advantage of, and even scorned by other nations are long behind us. Gone too are the broken promises, jobless recoveries.
So he's begun the speech. On the Republican side, he feels freer to stand up and look at them and not need to be anchored. It's less stress. But you notice as he turns in this direction, he uses his elbow as an anchor to face the Democratic side. And that's normal too when you're dealing with a side that you know has animosity towards you and would do things to you if they could.
Tired platitudes and constant excuses for the depletion of American wealth, power, and prestige. In just 3 short years, we have shattered the mentality of American decline, and we have rejected the downsizing of Americans' destiny. We have totally rejected the downsizing. We're moving forward at a pace that was unimaginable just a short time ago, and we are never, ever going back. The vision I will lay out this evening demonstrates how we are building the world's most prosperous and inclusive society, one where every citizen can join in America's unparalleled success, and where every community can take part in America's extraordinary rise. From the instant I took office, I moved rapidly to revive the U.S. economy, slashing a record number of job-killing regulations, enacting historic and record-setting tax cuts, and fighting for fair and reciprocal trade agreements. Our agenda is relentlessly pro-worker, pro-family, pro-growth, and most of all, pro-American. Thank you. We are advancing with unbridled optimism and lifting our citizens of every race, color, religion, and creed very, very high. Since my election, we have created 7 million new jobs, 5 million more than government experts projected during the previous administration.
Now you're starting to see more and more stress. So there are certain things that he says through the speech, and she'll do this. So this is the one we're going to point out, where she starts playing with her mouth. Or I should say she starts playing with her dentures. And that is the stress coming out, especially when it's a dig into their side than the previous administration.
The unemployment rate is the lowest in over half a century. And very incredibly, the average unemployment rate under my administration is lower than any administration in the history of our country. Yeah. In just 3 years of my administration, 3.5 million people, working age people, have joined the workforce. Since my election, the net worth of the bottom half of wage earners has increased by 47%, 3 times faster than the increase for the top 1%. After decades of...
So now we've just started to see the first hints of, oh my Lord, I think she's talking to herself. Just a slight movement of her lips. She's not vocalizing it. She's not making sure that her neck is sticking out and looking at someone. She says it and the head rolls around. So it's to herself. Now, when you get things like this, and it's consistently being done, because not every time she talked was to herself. She was trying to engage Pence, or she's looking at the audience and trying to tell them to be quiet. But when you see someone constantly doing this, it's kind of like that Schumer moment. When he's walking down, he goes over to his seat and he tells the invisible man to get out so he can sit down. Schumer does that because the stress has gotten so much. The paranoia of someone trying to take his power, hence the seat, has gotten so bad that he's now manifesting it into reality and telling the invisible man to get out of his seat, to give him back his power. And so that fantasy of I can take my power back is there. And now we see Pelosi looking for allies, not having any. And the fantasy of, well, I've got someone to talk to who's my ally. It's herself, but the fantasy, the alienation is starting to show itself.
Flat and falling incomes, wages are rising fast, and wonderfully, they are rising fastest for low-income workers who have seen a 16% pay increase since my election. This is a blue-collar boom. Real median household income is now at the highest level ever recorded. Since my election, U.S. stock markets have soared 70%, adding more than $12 trillion to our nation's wealth, transcending anything anyone believed was possible. This is a record. It is something that every country in the world is looking up to. They admire. Consumer confidence has just reached amazing new highs. All of those millions of people with 401ks and pensions are doing far better than they have ever done before, with increases of 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100% and even more. Jobs and investments are pouring into 9,000 previously.
So you see those little things in her face where her eyebrows react, the eyes move around, the head shakes as if she's interacting, but it's in her head. The voice is in her head, that manifestation of fantasy into reality. Sometimes she controls it where it doesn't come out of her mouth. Sometimes it just comes out the face. Now, if it was directed towards Trump, like if she took that reaction and gave it to him, then we could say she's reacting to Trump. But the fact that she turns away and looks, not really focusing in the distance, it's the voices in her head.
Neglected neighborhoods, thanks to Opportunity Zones, a plan spearheaded by Senator Tim Scott as part of our great Republican tax cuts. In other words, wealthy people and companies are pouring money into poor neighborhoods or areas that haven't seen investment in many decades, creating jobs, energy, and excitement. This is the first time that these deserving communities have seen anything like this. It's all working. Opportunity Zones are helping Americans like Army veteran Tony Rankins from Cincinnati, Ohio. After struggling with drug addiction, Tony lost his job, his house, and his family. He was homeless. But then Tony found a construction company that invests in Opportunity Zones. He is now a top tradesman, drug-free, reunited with his family, and he is here tonight. Tony, keep up the great work, Tony. Thank you, Tony. Our roaring economy has, for the first time ever, given many former prisoners the ability to get a great job and a fresh start. This second chance at life is made possible because we passed landmark criminal justice reform into law. Everybody said that criminal justice reform couldn't be done, but I got it done, and the people in this room got it done.
So this one, he actually invites the Democrats in. The people in this room got it done. You see the Republicans instantly stand up, and then the other side going, oh yeah, that's us too. And they start to stand up. And of course, because they're crazy as hell, they're clapping apparently towards the people that they're saying did it, not at Trump.
We must also rebuild America's infrastructure.
You shall rise. Yes, my lord, we shall rise. So he literally gives the command, to you, rise. And they obey, they rise. We're not quite sure what's going on behind the scenes. We can see that their polling numbers, the interactions that they're having with their town halls, and then on top of it, they're seeing polling numbers that aren't very nice to them. They're seeing the crowd sizes of Trump rallies, and they're looking at their own crowd sizes at their rallies, and it's not there. So all that plays into the mentality. And you realize there's a big dog in town. We can tell that the status quo is changing. We've tried to fight it, and it's not going exactly to plan. Of course, it helps to be smarter than a box of rocks, but I digress.
I ask you to pass Senator John Barrasso's highway bill to invest in new roads, bridges, and tunnels all across our land. I'm also committed to ensuring that every citizen can have...
And there again, you see her react to nothing, just herself, fantasy, filtering into reality. Let's go to the end.
America is the place where anyone can rise. And here, on this land, on this soil, on this continent, the most incredible dreams come true. This nation is our canvas, and this country is our masterpiece. We look at tomorrow and see unlimited frontiers just waiting to be explored. Our brightest discoveries are not yet known. Our most thrilling stories are not yet told. Our grandest journeys are not yet made. The American age, the American epic, the American adventure has only just begun. Our spirit is still young. The sun is still rising. God's grace is still shining. And my fellow Americans, the best is yet to come. Thank you. God bless you. And God bless America. Thank you very much.
And then she begins that. It was predetermined what she was going to do. She knew what she was going to do, and so she rips it up. I can't maim you or destroy you, but I can tear up your little speech, because they will be ripped forever. What a sad, lonely existence.
If you'd like to learn more about analysing body language, there is a video course available on Mandy's website for Gold subscribers, where Mandy teaches more about her techniques of deception detection. There's also other content such as the Crime series and Interesting Minds series available to both Gold and Silver subscribers. I've also included a sample tutorial video to Library and included a referral link at the top of the description of this video that when you register will award you some credits that should enable you to watch the video on Library.
If you like it, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.